So this year, actually, I saw it like a month ago, and I thought to myself, why maybe we should add some data, some interesting data about all this VDI space, because on Tolo we have quite a lot of data about customers, about environments. So I spoke with Ruben, we started to collaborate a bit, and eventually the final report already have some control data as well. So when you're reading, someone read the report already or still not? So when you read the report, you will see some survey data and control data. So I'm going to summarize those things, the most important thing about the report and our data and the survey data. So let's start. So if you want to read, to download, so I will send you the link after it. You just download it and read the report. So the survey part. So the survey part was the team that includes Mark, Ruben, and Robo from Ludwig's side. From our side, the data side, so you know Eugene, I guess, right? Me and Ben, his data engineer on our team. So we were responsible for the data, created our data, and put it in the report. How to read the slides? So we will see a lot of slides here, something like 40, 50 slides.
Nobody called.
Where else the presenter opens the door?
It's a full service.
Multi-function. Yeah, they're in space.
It's always Yoni, right? It's always Yoni.
Jeez, man.
So any slide you will see the VDI like a pro logo. It's data coming from the survey. Any slide with the controller logo, it's data coming from our data, from controller data. And the little n is the number of data points actually we queried during this query. So the survey is going to be the same, something like 600 responders. Controller data are going to be different for each query. So about the survey. So the survey, only about 600 people actually answered the survey. Most of them for the States, Netherlands, I guess because Martin Ruben for the Netherlands. After it's UK, and so on and so on. So our distribution is quite the same actually. 45% coming from 45% of the customers actually coming from the United States, UK, Netherlands, Germany, and so on and so on. Here, in the number of customers who created, it's 850. So first question, if you're using SBC, so terminal service environment, so majority of the customers answered yes, they're using like 80% of the customers using SBC environment. VDI, same, pretty the same numbers, majority actually using VDI. The no is the customer that only using VDI or SBC or depends on the slides. In our data, so again, majority of our customers are working with just SBC environment. Somewhere like 30% working with VDI, and the mix is something like 9%. Okay, it's from our data. What is the maximum capacity of the session? So how big is the environment? From the server again. So SBC environment, it's somewhere about from 1,000 to 5,000 sessions. VDI, it's a bit smaller, from 250 to 1,000 sessions. It makes sense, I think. How is compared to different two?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Do you mind going back just for a second? It would be interesting to see what's the average environment. So basically, you guys speaking into what, around 1,000 users, and they are between 1,000.
1,000 and 5,000.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I guess this makes sense because I guess the bigger environment we are working with SBC, with public application on a server, and the VDI is mainly for smaller environments. But again, right? It makes sense, I guess. Also compared to recent years, so we see some growth, some increase in 1,000 to 5,000 environment in SBC, some decrease on VDI. It's quite interesting. I was expecting to see more VDI, but
I'm sorry, the VDI responses have gotten smaller.
So no, not smaller, but the size of the environment. We never saw any decrease in the size of the environment.
Oh, but by the way, this is actually I don't know. Anybody we do sometimes. When people talk about large environments, first thing comes to mind is, let's say, 100,000 users.
Okay.
Right? And you actually have, it's actually amazing that people have data points for 100,000 environments.
Mm-hmm.
But what we found, and again, I'm talking about, I talked to other SEs or consultants within Citrix, right? My notion was the large environment as well, at least 10,000 users. What it turns out is this kind of a line in the sand with about 2,500 users.
Okay.
So
Concurrent users, right? The
concurrent,
peak.
yeah. It's fairly easy to get to the point. For some organizations, it's hard or sometimes even impossible to get beyond that. So that's the reason I ask you, where is your max? So there should be some, and you have the areas from 1,000 to 4,000.
Mhm.
So it looks like it's pretty much confirms kind of the notion that there is some line in the sand where for people it's easy to scale environment these days, but at the same
Well, I think
time.
it's hard. Well, I think it's hard to go over.
Yeah, so again, even you have, let's say, 100,000 user environment, usually it's not some monolithic, huge environment, it's a bunch of smaller ones,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Yeah.
There's some exceptions, but
Mhm.
interesting, so, okay.
Yeah, when this was last explained to me, that big drop you see
doesn't matter.
is just in environments from 1 to 249 users.
This one?
Yeah, no, the previous slide, that one there, where you see the big drop, that's just for small environments
yeah,
dropped off,
yeah,
is
yeah,
what
yeah.
it is.
But we never see any increase in the. We see small increase in the larger, very larger, from 5,000 to 25,000.
Yeah, but also remember, I think that in 2016 there were more, or 2015, wait, it's 2016 or 2016?
It's 2015.
2015 was the previous. Maybe it's okay, oh, so you still is 2016. I think they had more responses for the survey in 2016.
Okay.
Sure? Not sure about 2015.
No, they said that they didn't do it in 2016.
Really? No. You did it.
You know, what's misleading there is that the abscissa, the X scale is not even. You know, you have an even spacing
Oh,
from
yeah.
2014 to 2015, and then it jumps. I mean, that's really misleading because you don't have a linear scale down
It's
there.
no linear scale, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Not
How about the vertical, right? So one is, no, it's.
yeah. The ordinate is okay.
Now, do you see correlation because you have
I will show
objective,
you.
you have objective data and they have subjective data. Do
Yeah.
you see people not being completely honest what they have?
I guess. I guess.
Sure.
We cannot know that.
Well, not necessarily kind of.
The only thing I can compare
bias, let's say.
is control data.
Yeah.
So it's real
Yeah.
old data.
Yeah.
Is the only thing I can compare. So this is why we're doing it. So what we see in our data, so it's real world data from real world customers. So the majority of environments, it's SBC and VDI, we don't do this separation, are smaller environments for one user to 250. And then we have some bigger ones. But again, majority, like 80%, 90% actually, is from one user to 1,000 users. Okay? So again, it's SBC and VDI. So the real world data. Again, hypervisor, SBC and VDI. So also SBC and VDI, pretty the same numbers, vSphere 6 or 6 something or 5 something.
Don't show David Cottingham that slide.
Sorry? What?
As far as sensor is concerned, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, again, Zenser with just 11% or 8% for SBC. Still, vSphere is just in the majority. Same compared to historical data, quite the same numbers during the years, not much of change. We see a little increase here in the KBM, I guess because of the dynamics, quite the same. Compared to controller data, so we just compare VMware and server customers. So also here, majority of our customers working with VMware environments. Again, VDI and SBC, we don't do differentiation. Robot solutions.
Sorry, could you go back, Gabby? The fact that the numbers add up to more than 100, does that
Because they're
reflect
mixed.
that you have
Mixed
multiple
mixed environments.
installations? Okay, just want to make sure.
We
Thank
saw
you.
quite a few customers use Zenso for the VDI state and vSphere for regular servers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Makes sense. So broker solutions, so in this BC, majority of them actually working on Zenap, 6 dots, 7 dot something. In VDI actually we'd see more VMware, so Zen Desktop like 50%, the other one VMware, just some work spot. And so I guess if customer working with SBC base, it usually will go to Citrix. VDI, they're still more open.
I wonder where that comes from because I've never seen WorkSpot before.
That's 6% more work spot than I expected.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
You never saw a customer?
I've never seen it in the wild. I like them on paper, but
I saw
I've never.
this place a 200 user deployment
Did you?
because their SA was up, and it was like they were able to work spot for the price of their SA
And that's
and
the
dealers and all that, right?
that's the group that they target heavily.
Yeah.
Is say I've got to do something. So
Just a little law firm.
Are they still using VPN though for their?
Also, the K through 12 environment,
They're using that
I
SA
want to understand, Gabe, yeah, from talking
So they drop their
to
escalators too. Okay.
Brad
People
Peterson,
differentiate
who
because
went over
let's say
to
the ones on
them
desktop,
from
right?
Judges
They might still be
originally. That's what he
using
said, that's
75% of
kind of
the
one of their
number.
target markets.
Do they differentiate? Because sometimes customers are confused what to call VDI.
Mm-hmm.
We personally don't like to call it VDI.
I know.
Right? So they might be using Zen but they tell you they're using Zen
I
desktop
know,
because they
I know. It's just simple question.
Yeah.
They just asking if he wasn't using
Yeah.
VDI, what he would.
Yeah. But as far as your numbers are concerned,
I will show you one number.
you are actually looking at VDI and basically single user.
I will show you.
I'm also surprised the RDS is lower than being a little higher because I see a lot more pure RDS deployments out there than.
I guess
WorkSpot.
just they never.
People who answer it, yeah.
just
And that could be, the number of respondents to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Again, compared to the recent years, so we see some increase in WorkSpot. It's all 6%. Series quite the same. VMware quite the same. Not much of change. So controller. Again, majority of the customers are Citrix-based customers. So we see some Zen 5 environments, 6 environment, and then the thought Zen 7, and some new environments. But still, we see a lot of customers Zen 6 dot something. I'm quite expecting to see more of deployment of 7 something next
They'll
year.
probably start with 714.
Yeah.
Now, would you attribute your usage with control up for the VMware view being smaller because you guys were more well-known throughout the VMware community and started there?
Exactly. Exactly. Majority of customers are Citrix-based, yes.
And there is another reason for that, which as a vendor, I'm not likely to say, but this is a different community, so I'll say it anyway. VMware has a better management, built-in management function, like vRealize and.
Well, if you remember the higher edition they do.
Sure, and most of the VMware customers have vRealize suite.
And I guess that our product main tuned to Citrix environments.
Yeah, like for example, we don't have a Horizon View native API integration because honestly we didn't have one until last year.
Yeah.
Right.
But it will grow. It will grow. We see
grow.
more and more Horizon View customers.
So we don't do comparison because it's just the first thing we do it, but we do it. So which OS deployed on SBC environments? So in the survey, most of the customers actually they're working with 2012 or 2. There is some with 2016. It's quite a small number. So not surprisingly, we see increase in 2012, decrease in 2008. Makes sense. Compared to our data, so we see that majority actually working with 2008 and not 2012. And I guess it's quite correlates to Zen up to 6 something. It's quite the same environment. But still, it's make much more sense than the survey data. So these are the percentage of shared and pooled stateless desktops. So again, here majority of the response came from environment with pooled or stateless environments. Are you seeing your environment? It's mainly stateless or it's private? Stateful?
Mostly stateless.
Stateless, right?
So if you look at the number of users per environment, right? So if you get go to small environments, you might see where you have dedicated
Yeah,
VMs.
exactly.
For large, especially, I would say for VM, it will be probably a challenge to have non-pooled VMs, for large number of
Really?
VMs. Well, how do you deploy it? How do you back it up, right?
Okay.
It's like complexity of the environment grows if it's not a pooled environment.
Mm-hmm.
And for PVS, people that deploy PVS, it's very easy. Easy to scale,
Yeah.
you can roll it back
SMCS.
with PVS.
SMCS, it's
Oh,
quite the same.
well, it's okay. It's simple to roll it out.
Yeah.
It's not simple to roll it back.
Mm.
Right? So people that need to change images often. We see some medical organizations that, let's say, update the image like twice a week, unless they use some other technologies,
Mm.
like, I don't know, layering or
Yeah.
virtualization. It's tough. So for people with PVS, it's easy.
Yeah.
You made a mistake, requirements get changed.
Mhm.
or you have to make, like in healthcare, sometimes they have to maintain the images, basically, they have to update them twice a week.
Yeah.
So with MCS, mission possible.
It's possible.
Well, it's
But different
possible.
topic.
It's challenging to have this.
Yeah.
Right. So for large organization, it's beyond that. Yeah.
Okay. We have a question about PBS also.
Quick question.
Sorry?
Excuse my ignorance, but what do you mean by stateless?
Stateless?
Persistent, non-persistent.
So
Non-persistent.
yeah,
Non-persistent?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I noticed all the other categories there are shared, pooled, stateless, except for
Yeah,
0%.
look at the percentage.
Also the pool is.
Check the percentage. So the others are dedicated.
Sorry?
So check the percentage, okay? So the others are dedicated. So when someone is told that 60 to 80% are stateless, so the other going to be stateful.
Oh, I'm just, the bottom one there says 0% of all desktops are personal, private, and stateful versus shared, pooled.
It's just rounded. It's it's 0.1 for example, 0.5 whatever. It's just rounded.
Compared to historical data, and not much change actually, it's quite the same. And most of them using with stateless environments. Which operation system you use for desktops? So we see that most of the customers actually working with Windows 7, and we see some increase in Windows 10, and there's some Linux, there's some XP, surprisingly. Same here, so we see increase in Windows 10, we see decrease in Windows 7, and makes sense. In our case, so here we create 103,000 VMs in our data. Majority of them, like 90%, are still Windows 7. Quite surprising actually. I was expecting to see more Windows 10. But it is what it is.
It's not surprising at all.
So
No? Really? It's like...
I think that's just starting to really kick off in a lot of companies,
Right now?
especially at scale.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've had projects to work on it.
Yep.
yeah, how do you get Windows embedded?
Thin clients.
No, actually, good question.
So you
Someone installed the agent inside.
yeah, so you look at the endpoints.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of, it might skew your statistics, right? Because embedded, you're kind of not very flexible as far as what to install.
Endpoint?
Yeah.
It's not that.
So they managed to actually, you know for
They
sure.
installed the agent inside.
Inside the.
Yeah. There's no idea how.
We have a couple like that
It's
for
gonna be
testing
physical.
of our
It's gonna be anything.
endpoints, kind of interestingly enough. We installed it into a VM so that we could test it
So
when we
basically,
put it out to the endpoints.
deployment methodology, right?
Yeah.
For example, I don't know, some custom.
So what I want to know is
But it's a huge
who's the one company that's subjecting their employees to this stuff?
She's one desktop at one company.
Yeah, right.
We have the name.
Really give it a name.
But it's a huge percentage though. Look, if you have XP at 1.15 and
Okay.
embedded is at 1.1, it's like, I can imagine they have XP, right?
Yeah.
They cannot get over it, right? But for them, for experimental sake or for deployment purposes to deploy it with embedded, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised, very surprised.
Do you need the agent to collect that?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Well, we get that's also from vSphere API or Sensor API,
But this for
this data
the,
is only for what we call management computers,
Okay.
agent-based.
it's quite a lot of computers, so it's 100 something thousand. Okay. So this question comes just for the survey. Which storage technology you use for your hosted desktop? So majority of the customers are using some sort of storage SSD, flash, hybrid environments. We see huge growth in hyperconverged.
Not surprising.
Surprising?
Not
Not
surprising.
surprising, yeah, not surprising at all. So yeah, makes sense. Environment management for SBC and VDI. So we see a lot of customers who are working with Citrix Program Manager, REST, Absence, and so on and so on.
Lots of Dutch response.
Yeah, that's the same conclusion I have.
Yeah.
That the popularity of the REST workspace managers due to the huge Dutch replies.
Do you have our numbers in here? Because
No.
it's a bit we
No.
did that for the
I
previous
did it
years.
actually. No, I did it actually, but I looked at the numbers and it was like
The numbers
all
we
messed
had
up.
are much lower.
It's all messed up.
Not sure is humans.
Are you able to tell if they tried to stack the deck, you know, stuff the ballot box? If Rez sent out people and said, okay, go vote for Rez?
Or works fine.
I
don't know where it's at.
In our data, we can see if REST is running, so we have these numbers, but the only problem I had, the profile management was always on. We always saw it, so it's like 80%. So it
Yeah, it's installed.
yeah, it's running actually.
Yeah,
The service is running,
yeah.
and we don't know if it's actually using it.
It's interesting.
So let's keep this slide.
Again, this is really, really vast. You have 600
Yeah.
answers for
Same here. Almost no change during the 2 years. It was the same. So now for control of that.
Our data, the.
I think I saw that after drinking last night, all those old
Might be. So, control of data. I'm quite sure that most of you saw it already. But this is the distribution of logon duration on our organizations. So here we tracked 158
Room service.
35 million.
But is it closed from the outside or what?
Yeah,
He
it's
closed it because there was noise coming, but it didn't help him. So.
Actually, it's a lot from
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Wow.
there's that.
okay.
It really does look a lot bigger once you get inside.
Alex, any last sense?
That means you're on door duty.
I'm on door duty now? All right, I guess. Works.
So, logon duration. So what we see, I will explain. So this is the average logon duration for the organization. The size of the bubble is the size of the organization. So as big as the bubble is the bigger the organization, the smaller the bubble, the smaller the organization. And here the Y, the X, sorry, it's number of published applications, logon on published applications, and logons on published desktops, or VDI or terminal server or something like that. So what we see here? So we see that if it's bigger customer, bigger environment, they tend to publish more published applications and less published desktops. Smaller organization tends to publish more published desktops and less published applications. And so, larger organizations tend to have quickest logon time. So it's going to be something like 20. The smaller one, and one is published desktops, tend to have something like 30 something.
Actually, it's more related to, it's not actually the size. The reason for the delta of the 20 to 30 seconds are, the way we measure logon duration is that for desktops, we also include the desktop initialization phase, which is like 5 seconds or something. And for published app, we stop when the app is launched. So we don't measure, at least in this version,
But still, you see that gap, so from the
it's
point of-
true. It's faster logon for
Yeah.
the user.
Is it a fair assessment or a guess that for the larger installations, that perhaps the reason that the login times are relatively much shorter because they tend to, within the corporate environment, run fewer applications than, say, some of the other installations? Because certainly the number of applications that you run, of course, upon your login time is obviously going to skew things towards longer login times. And so I would think that, for example, with a bank or with a medical facility, that you would have potentially a much smaller subset of applications. Is that something that you could
So
ascertain?
when you launch an application, typically you're only launching one. If you launch a desktop, you're going to launch the desktop. So it's not actually going to increase the log on. Typically also because session sharing is enabled. When you launch your second application, it's going to use actually the same session. If you have that disabled or turned off, then it will launch just as a single application. So that's not going to skew the data if they have more applications.
I think that larger organizations just invest more in this whole logon process. This is my assumption. So this is the distribution of the customers and the average logon time. So we see like 40% of our customers tends to have less than 20-second logon time, average logon time, and the other 60 more than 25 logon time, 25-second logon time. So just distribution between them. Average logon time. So our average logon time for all our customers is 27 seconds. Again, for published application, 20 seconds, full desktop, 32 seconds, and this is the distribution of the logon time itself, so profile, group policy, explore, and other. So other can be anything like a print spooler and something like that.
So what's your best guess as to what other is?
We have UPM is one.
Any service, maybe REST also.
Yeah,
Or any-
third parties, UPM, this could be the, so the WF shell initialization part, which maps drives on containers, will also be the
Average application load time, so in control you measure the load time of the, Java.
Look at the Microsoft ones are right behind it, so.
I was really surprised to see link here. So 12 seconds to open link, it's crazy. So Outlook, Zaplogon, Chrome, and so on. Actually, I explored it quite fast.
That's why we show Notepad. That's why we use Notepad for testing. That's just every time a test was run.
What about calculator?
I'm not surprised Internet Explorer is so low, because it's not when you open up Explorer, it's when you actually go to browse somewhere that it slows down.
Yeah, Explorer, by the way, it's just what we call the parent process.
Yeah.
It's not the tab.
But see, link was very surprising to see it.
And a lot of medical respondents, Epic is in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So application load time by standard deviation. So what is this all? That's cool stuff. So what is it? It's the name of the application, the average logon time. So for example, Epic, it's something like 4 something seconds. Excel, something like 5 seconds. The size of the bubble, the number of instances we saw in our databases, and standard deviation. So what is standard deviation? It's from the lowest to the higher load time. So for example, Notepad will open something like 1 second, and it always open like 1 second because it's no any
So
deviation.
Java is just consistently bad.
Yeah, exactly. Java can be opened in 12 seconds, but it can open in 6 seconds, or in 20 seconds. So,
By the way, the Excel, Word, PowerPoint stuff, that's mainly due to
file
the
size.
different files being opened. So if you open a large file, it takes a while. If you open a small file, so deviation is pretty.
That's a Chrome, I think, because of extension or something like that.
Yeah, Acrobat.
Acrobat has a file size. Makes sense. So, Office application, the load time of each Office version, again, out of 6 million instances. So what we see here, that usually, as a newer Office, you tend to have more slow load time.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
How do your metrics take into account like pre-launch?
Pre-launch?
Pre-launch is just a session.
It's just a process.
Not
We measure the process, not the session. It's not
Yeah, so
the
they
decision.
counting from the application launch. So
Yeah, but pre-launch it launches everything.
no, but you have a
just reconnect to it.
They're not looking at the handshake to establish the session. They're looking at the executable. The assumption is the environment is right, whether it was pre-launch or you just launch it fresh. They start counting from the moment your executable registers as deployed. So yeah.
Top processes. So that's not so surprising. I explored the top processes we see in our customers. After the explorers, usually desktop, Acrobat, Windows, Outlook, and so on and so on. Also by CPU consumption, I explore because most of the people use explore the environment, so it's tend to use more CPU. C script in PowerShell, I guess it's Logon script. Setup, so setups on, I guess it's a maybe setup script on the Logon or something like that. Browser usage. So in the Explorer, like the king of the browsing environments, like 85% of the browsing done on Explorer. Chrome like 12% only, and the other 3%. Firefox, Safari, whatever. Average process per session, so it's number of tabs it opens on each browser. So when a user using iExplore, it tends to have only 2 tabs. I don't know if it's in its policy base or behavior or something like that. Actually, I hope it's going. But in Chrome, we see much more deviation to that.
Can I ask you to go back to the other slide for a sec? So I'm curious as to what everyone else thinks of that huge 85% number. Is that internet sites, you think, as opposed to people truly browsing? Because I would think that most people actually browsing would not want IE.
In corporates or in Tom?
Most people don't give them a choice though.
Yeah.
All the big
Corporates give them
places are
choice.
IE and they don't want Chrome because of all its bloat and its user stats and datas and tracking, and Firefox is whatever.
So do you think that's the decision based on Chrome, or do you think it's compatibility things with old internet websites that are only going to draw under IE?
Compatibility.
A lot of compatibility, that's what we have.
But you also see it in your environments, it's mainly IE? Or
I publish both, and I see a lot of users that are just IE.
Really?
Yeah. It's because they know it.
What about Edge? You see also Edge?
Probably most users are 45 plus in the environment.
No, Edge.
No.
What's the point I just made? Sorry, what was that?
Edge browser
version 11.
No, Edge browser versus IE though.
We don't get an Edge, so.
Okay.
I know a couple deployments that do 50K plus IE,
Okay.
50K CCU, and that's how they publish and broker their application, so.
I still bet if you're over 45, you're using an Internet Explorer. So, yeah.
Well, no, I hear that from people. I'm like, you should use, Chrome, this works better. And I get, oh, well, I'm used to IE and I want to change, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
You should get like Netscape Navigator or something.
that would be a popular one if it was available.
When you get to our age, you'll understand.
Every browser per session. So how many instances we see on each session? Any, the resource consumption for each browser. So I Explorer and Chrome pretty the same. Any idea why Firefox is out the door?
Firefox. This one's also
It's quiz. Everyone that knows will get some of my audience.
It's a resource.
Good time with you.
That's where they watch the videos.
No idea?
So-
I don't know. The little Java.
Okay.
So, because until recently, Firefox managed all tabs and browsers under one process. When I explore Chrome,
When you say session, you're saying browser session, not.
There's consumption for each browser process in the session. So Firefox, until just a few weeks, a few months.
Nobody home?
Morning.
Yes.
Room for one more. This is right, we need the GoPro like pointing like right there.
Oh, there's no more room? Really? Oh no, there's 3, 6.
I'll sit next to the rest of that. That is no problem.
We forgot to tell you, if you show up late, we go all united on you.
Alright, well, who's got the loyalty program?
Who's left?
Yeah.
Come on, Uni, move to Matthias. There's like no space at all.
Well, we're at 30, we're at the maximum
Full house, it's a
capacity.
full room, actually.
No, there's space there.
We can still stack, right?
Eating is just so popular. there's no more
Stable
seats.
usage. So stable usage.
That's an
Out of 2.2 million sessions, so 88% are coming from Windows. I was expecting to see much more Linux than Mac, but I see quite
Because
good penetration of
like
5G.
terminals, right, that people will use, you will expect for large environments, can be basically a Linux client.
Yeah, them plans.
But still, I was expecting to see much more of this. Linux is like 2%.
Especially if you have 1% for Mac and all of a sudden Linux is only 2%.
Yeah. But still, actually 5 is a good number, I think. And like, actually, I think it's going to be in the future much larger. But still, I was very surprised to see Windows majority. 88% is crazy.
Have you gathered any data on receiver versions?
Yeah. I have.
That's got it.
That's the next slide.
It is just for you? It's something that you want to say?
Well, I'm just curious because we have different problems than other deployments. If you're internal and you're a corporate deployment, it's a lot easier to control receiver versions, right? You can push them out, you can mandate stuff. I deal with a whole bunch of external customers and I'm all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got people running versions that are literally 6, 7 years old, versus people who always go grab the newest, latest, and greatest regardless of what we're recommending and what our farms are running. So
I will publish a blog about it.
I'm still running the online plugin.
On a plugin.
At 3.4.
No, prior to
That was still receiver.
the 12 version, so still looking for that upgrade.
So, back to the survey. Which application virtualization you use in your VDI SPC environment? So, majority of answers stem from no application application virtualization used at all. There is some V, some cleanup, but no Unidesk, no app volume or something like that. Actually, we see increase in no application virtualization at all. What do you see in your environments? You see some increase in app volume, Unidesk, or?
Our fee is actually dropping for sure, but can you go to the previous slide, sorry? Yeah, just run through the numbers that you have, so.
Citrix for that.
I have a question. just how could people not be sure what kind of virtualizing solution they have?
They're not sure?
Or what country, like in the first one, what country they were in, right?
This is my biggest question.
It's a late night.
It depends how the day.
What country is easy, right? Because if you're multi-geo, multinational, and you've got your farms spread across all kinds of things, easy answer. Right. And for this, maybe you're not in charge of the app stuff, you're in charge of something else, but you've got interest in this, so you're going to answer this. That's specific.
Right, I wonder how much of that stuff is delivered by separate teams.
Yeah.
But again, it's survey, so it's you're not control numbers. So we didn't track the application utilization part just because we cannot track any Unidesk usage or something like that currently because we're tracking the process in any app volume. But we're going to fix it in the future and promise.
So but Unidesk wouldn't fall into app virtualization, that would fall under app layering, which is a separate question in the survey. I asked Ruben and Mark about this, but you asked both questions, app vert and app layering, and it's crazy to see that, what was that last number, 75% or something, or no, it was 40% use nothing. In the app layering question, 75% of the people use nothing at all. And I'd love to see what the combined number is for like who's doing some kind of app management at all. It doesn't really matter how it is. So that I emailed you guys. So hopefully, hopefully we get like the raw data and combine. Because if we get the response IDs and stuff, we should be able to put them together and see.
Office version. Sorry, also not that surprising. Office 2016, the majority.
Microsoft's doing good.
There's a lot of 2010 for some reason, no idea why.
No, but I mean, the Office 365 didn't expect that.
So 2013 quite the same during the year. 2016 is growing.
So actually, that's a good question, Yanni. How do you find that your data compares to the survey data?
So here we didn't compare it.
Didn't put it here? I
we
think we
put
see lots of Office 2013 still out there.
Yeah, that's what
I think we had a slide for that last year. Yeah, I'm not sure. To me, it seems that usually when people answer servers, they're trying to be more optimistic than reality.
Yeah.
So even if they deploy 2016 on one server as a test,
Oh yeah.
Right. But in reality, it's not fully blown.
It's the same like Windows 7 and Windows 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, the same.
They upgrade their own VDI image for the sysadmins to Windows 10, but the 10,000 users are using Windows 7. It's the same psychological effects.
So in offloading technology and GPU, so we see there quite a lot of customers working with NVIDIA Grid, starting to work with this. And we see an increase here actually, and decrease in the node.
It seems like people feel that I just go,
So it's nice.
I don't know.
Do you see increase in your environments? Usage of GPU? No?
No.
Really? People still not
Some people just don't use the tool, and some people start pretty much playing GPUs.
Anything for anything? For any session? Really? Not any treat.
Well, no. There are specific need for that. When somebody does, I don't know, not necessarily 3D modeling, but they would need some.
Do you familiar with the customer that actually put it to all of the sessions, all the VMs?
I would say it varies. I've got some customers that want to put it everywhere, and sometimes they look at the licensing cost or the number of hosts and density, and they have to decide how they're going to want to do it. It's a tough question. It's a tough sell right now for a lot of customers. But there are some customers who say, we need this, and they understand that it can be used everywhere. Some customers say, we only want to do it for the highest end users, the AutoCAD users, things like that.
How much is it going to add for any user? It's like tens of dollars or more?
So it depends on if you're doing application versus virtual work, VDI, because the prices are different. They tier it. They have 3 different layers of licensing for that, and then you just have to figure out how you're going to do it, and sometimes it's a mix.
But I think as AMD and Intel mature their solutions, that might change. That probably will change.
Yeah, we need competition. I would tell Jared that too. Absolutely.
What other offloading technologies are there than GPU?
There is this one for Intel, right?
This one is offloading or GPUs, the question. So it was a 30G.
So you could call that RILV, offloading one thing.
No Intel at all. Wow.
Oh yeah. I guess
EDGA or ESG.
Yes,
I thought about that.
I'm curious to ask the room, I mean, I think everybody understands GPU offloading for graphics-heavy applications. How many people are seeing buy-in for just kind of regular applications
well,
where
that's
we've been
the-
talking?
I'm seeing it, absolutely.
So that's what Intel probably
We're
knows.
looking at it.
So I'm seeing it, but not for NVIDIA.
For
So
Intel?
there's been a couple of very large projects that are just sort of kicking off because the Intel chips are now available, particularly in Moonshot's arm. I've seen a couple of large projects where it's Moonshot and Intel Iris, and effectively they're trying to.
You said Moonshot with Intel Iris?
Yeah.
I could see that because
doing that well?
yeah, the Intel.
We've seen it's actually
I hope not.
No, it's not. But there are a couple of projects where I've seen Moonshot being used. Some actually. One of them in very large financials is Neil Spelling's around.
He's not, we talked last night,
Is that?
He took the day off today.
Oil and gas too. I've seen
Oil,
it.
oil and gas, and particularly in places where they've got a sort of medium size but very spread around the world, and they're using the Moonshot just to say, right, I can just dump a Moonshot in there and nothing else.
But it's quite expensive, right? It's quite expensive.
Well, it's actually the stuff that I've been doing. We've been putting Atlantis on there, so you've got the storage in there as well. So if you do it and you have to buy a SAN as well, it's quite expensive. But if you do it with us and you've got the storage inside, then that obviously reduces the cost.
But if Intel gets into E5 processors, I think you'll see that a lot.
Skylake Xeon.
So you're talking about Moonshot, not with those desktop cartridges.
No,
You're talking about it with like actual
We're going
real.
to actual
So-
E5 server instead of E3. So.
Yeah, so putting Zen server on the server cartridges and then
Okay.
I think it's the last actually question. So, how do you deploy your images? So here, majority are actually working with provisioning services with PBS, and there are some
Personal VDIS.
personal videos, yeah. And it's assembling clones, full clones, and others.
PVDs?
Yeah,
No way.
PVD.
Yeah, what's wrong with the PVD?
That's PVD.
5%.
So what is the PVD percentage that you're saying?
5.18.
that's got to be a misclick.
Someone didn't understand what they were clicking.
It wasn't a misclick, it was just a mistake.
Trigger happy.
They enjoy the pain.
So actually we see decrease in APBS, and I think in the long run we see a decrease even more because of this whole client environments. They mainly work with MCS. I love MCS. Maybe just
I agree.
Match up here though.
What?
So
Here?
we're saying that MCS is staying pretty steady, but PBS is declining?
Yeah.
MCS is
No,
slowly
it's
increasing.
quite going to be a little bit.
That's probably because you can't deploy PBS inside like Azure.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's also because MCS has made huge strides over the last year or so in terms of efficiency, in terms of the caching capabilities. They're really almost equal now in terms of overall performance.
I wonder if that has to do with size of the survey sample too.
Yeah, some of the answers too, I think, since you only have a certain number of samples, and I'm sure it skews towards certain people, it's kind of self-selecting in certain areas. I don't know if this is one of them, but...
PVS is much more common. We have the, maybe while we do this today, I'll find our latest spreadsheet. We have the full data.
Let's publish a blog about it.
Yeah, okay.
Simple way.
Okay, so publish it today.
Next hour.
Tell you what, if you give me all the data, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Hey, I just want access to the images.
You have to stand up, right?
in the face.
And then I'll do the rest of it.
I can send you via Gmail the Excel file. It's 200 terabytes.
I'm sure that'll fit.
To the cloud.
Use Outlook.com.
Just add the share following.
Sure.
Shut them down.
So this is actually the last question about unified communication solution on VDI/VPC environments. So we see a lot of customers actually do it, providing a unified communication solution on
Is this like
VDI.
Skype?
So
Skype, anything like that, WebEx, whatever.
So I want to ask the room actually. I'm seeing massive Skype for business right now. I'm seeing almost nothing else at all.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
everybody else's experience?
Yeah.
99%.
I know about Hangouts and deployments and some banks.
People
on
are
Europe.
embedded already in WebEx, they're sticking. That's,
Yeah, but-
it's impossible to get them off of it.
Yeah, but you see, with Skype, they're using the PBX, so it's basically a full-blown
Yeah,
phone
yeah.
solution.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see that being overlaid on top of
They're actually making
Citrix or VMware usage too.
Probably a lot of customers who are taking up Office 365 and going from nothing to
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah.
So I think it was the last question.
I think Office 365 and Skype for Windows have been like the massive success stories for Microsoft over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's absolutely almost universal now.
Yeah.
It's mental.
So what's the experience?
Where's the Avaya right now, right? So, it's portion.
Sorry?
Avaya? No, you know.
Avaya?
Yeah.
So
It's still alive?
Skype continue to do that.
Also helps that Citrix has the optimizer in there, makes it work very well.
Yeah.
So what is the experience that users get when you work
Well,
from
now it works.
Skype or something?
Well, we have been using
No,
something called
if it's done properly, it actually looks quite well.
It's on high latencies.
There's no happy.
It's on latencies. It's on high latencies.
It has nothing to do with the session, right? Once you establish your session, if it's done properly, you're not happy, you're not throttled through the session.
Okay.
So you know in the keynote when they said they got 200,000 active Skype for Business Optimizer Pack users, yeah? And that must be bullshit because that half of that accounts for a single customer of mine, right?
Well, could that just be the ones that responded to them?
Yeah, maybe.
Or downloaded it.
I downloaded it at least 20 times, I mean, that's gonna count for something.
Yeah, who unchecks the little customer experience management program?
So maybe it's you, it's for customers, right? So maybe it's organizations rather than users.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. But we should run the same query in our side to see the difference. So anyway, it's the end of the presentation. If you want to download the report, I will send you the presentation, download the link, and that's all guys. Thanks.
Someone-